everyone, GrimmChorizo here, and welcome to Wrestling Roundup, the show where I give you this week's wrestling news, rumors, and recap. So honestly, this was a huge week for wrestling, so let's go ahead and start back at last Saturday's NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Austin Aries defeated No Way Jose, and after the match, Hideo Itami came out and hit him with the GTS. Ember Moon made her debut, defeating Billie Kay. After a glorious entrance, Bobby Roode defeated Cien Almas. The Revival retained the NXT Tag Team titles against Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. Asuka retained the NXT Women's Championship against Bayley. And Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Samoa Joe to become the new NXT Champion. So NXT TakeOver Brooklyn was amazing. Top to bottom, I loved it all. I loved the entrances, I loved the matches. My favorite match would have been the Tag Team title match. I was so invested, I was legitimately yelling at the TV because I was just so into it. The Revival have grown on me so much, but they do such a good job of you don't want them to win. They're so good at getting the heat, and then Gargano and Ciampa, you just want them to win so bad, but they didn't. But man, the show was amazing top to bottom. So now the results from SummerSlam. On the pre-show, American Alpha, the Usos, and the Hype Bros defeated the Vaudevillains, the Ascension, and Breezango. Sami Zayn and Neville defeated the Dudley Boys. And Sheamus defeated Cesaro in the first match of their Best of 7 series. Now on to the main card, Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens defeated Enzo and Cass. Charlotte defeated Sasha Banks to become the new Women's Champion. The Miz retained the Intercontinental Championship against Apollo Crews. AJ Styles defeated John Cena. The New Day retained the WWE Tag Team titles, but it was by disqualification after Big E returned and attacked Gallows and Anderson. Dean Ambrose retained the WWE World Championship against Dolph Ziggler. A returning Nikki Bella, Alexa Bliss, and Natalya defeated Becky Lynch, Naomi, and Carmella. Finn Balor defeated Seth Rollins to become the first ever Universal Champion. Roman Reigns and Rusev's United States Championship match never happened because Roman just beat the fuck out of Rusev and the match never started. And in the main event, Brock Lesnar defeated Randy Orton by TKO. Basically, he was just elbowing him right to the head and busted him open. There was too much blood, so they stopped the match. So overall, I thought SummerSlam was a bit of a letdown. Actually, not a bit of a letdown. I thought it was a letdown. There was a lot of potential there, and it didn't live up. AJ and Cena was a phenomenal match. Really, really fucking good. A match of the year, a contender for sure. Nice to see AJ get the win. After the match, Cena left his armband in the ring, which was good storytelling, and we're going to see what goes from there. A lot of the matches just didn't really live up to the hype. I didn't think that Ziggler and Ambrose was as good as I thought it was going to be, as the build and storytelling was so good going into it. And even Finn and Seth wasn't as good as I was expecting either, but there might be a reason for that. So after SummerSlam, it was revealed that Finn Balor had suffered an injury during his match with Seth Rollins for the Universal title. So he won the title, he won the match, but during the match, he took a powerbomb onto the barricade. It actually hurt his shoulder. It dislocated and he put it back in the socket and wrestled the whole match. Now he has a labrum tear, and he went to check it out on that Monday before Raw, and it turns out he needs surgery and is going to be out at least 6 months. Because of that, he had to vacate the title. He had to give up the Universal title just, less than 24 hours after winning it, which just fucking sucks so bad. That seems like this kind of shit is happening so much, and it's sad. It sucks for them, it sucks for the fans, it sucks for the company, but Finn Balor is no longer the Universal Champion. So after relinquishing the title on Raw, Mick Foley and Stephanie McMahon came up with a way to crown a new Universal Champion, and they decided that next week there would be a fatal 4-way match. The winner of that match would be the Universal Champion, and there were qualifying matches that night on Raw. The winners of those matches were Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and Big Cass. So next week they're going to compete in a fatal 4-way match, and the winner of that match will be the Universal Champion. Bayley made her Raw debut, defeating Dana Brooke. Also on Raw, the Dudley Boys officially retired from WWE. It seemed like it was going to be a storyline, but apparently they are really done. They, cut a promo, basically just thanking the fans for everything. The Shining Stars came out, they beat up the Shining Stars, and then Gallows and Anderson came out and put the Dudleys through tables, and the Dudley Boys are done with WWE. Not saying they won't be back, but their contract is up, and they're done, which is kind of sad. They didn't really do much this whole year that they were signed, but it was still awesome when they came back, and it was an amazing moment. Huge surprise last year after SummerSlam when they made their return. So now let's move over to the results from SmackDown. Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon introduced the new titles, a women's championship and tag team titles. As you can see, they look basically just like the Raw women's with blue and the Raw tag with blue and silver. I like the way these titles look more, but I mean now with the Universal, the Raw women's, the SmackDown women's, and the World title, they all have the same design. Ugh. I think it's lazy and they could do better than that. But the SmackDown blue and white and blue and silver colors look a lot better. Carmella and Nikki Bella were set to have a match, and there was actually a double turn. Nikki Bella was talking to Renee, cutting an interview, saying that she's so happy to be back and compete after, her injury, and then Carmella just attacked her and beat the hell out of her. So now Carmella is a heel and Nikki Bella is a face. Randy Orton came out and was talking about his match with Brock Lesnar, and then Bray Wyatt came out and confronted him, so it looks like we're getting an Orton and Bray Wyatt feud. And in the main event, AJ Styles defeated Dolph Ziggler. If Ziggler had won, he would get to face Ambrose and Styles at Backlash for the world title, but because Styles won, it's just going to be one-on-one AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose. So yeah, a lot of WWE results to get through this week, but I mean, Brooklyn TakeOver was amazing. SummerSlam, a letdown. Raw, to me, another letdown. It had its moment, with Bayley debuting, but other than that, eh. So the winner this week between Raw and SmackDown, once again, goes to SmackDown. I just feel overall SmackDown is giving a better product. The introducing of the new titles was good. The matches in a tag team tournament were good. A double turn was good. AJ and Ziggler had an amazing match. That was good. Setting up a new feud with Bray and Orton, good. And then also on Talking Smack, their after show, The Miz cuts an insane heartfelt promo on Daniel Bryan, and the fans, he looks in the camera, he's got tears in his eyes, and it's real. It feels real. And I think that SmackDown is just giving it better. Raw has a lot of talent. Like, most of my favorites are on Raw, but they're just not using them in ways that are getting me to like Raw more. So once again, SmackDown wins. So the next pay-per-view for WWE coming up is Backlash. It'll be SmackDown only. And matches that have been announced so far are Dean Ambrose defending the WWE World Championship against AJ Styles, the finals of the tournament to crown the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions, and a six-pack challenge to determine the first ever SmackDown Women's Champion. So Sasha Banks lost the Women's Championship, kind of surprisingly, I would say, at SummerSlam to Charlotte. Apparently the reason is because she has a back injury, but she doesn't need surgery, so she shouldn't be out too long, but she did have to drop the title, unfortunately. Into non-WWE news, Adam Cole defeated Jay Lethal at Ring of Honor's pay-per-view Death Before Dishonor to become the new Ring of Honor champion. Now, Jay Lethal had held that title for a long time, over 400 days, so it was time, and Adam Cole, now with the Bullet Club, it seems like it was the right time, so two-time champ, Adam Cole. Rumor has it that before Finn Balor was injured, his plans with the Universal Championship were to feud with Kevin Owens over the title at the next pay-per-view Clash of Champions, and that would lead to a triple threat match at Hell in a Cell between Balor, Owens, and Jericho, and that sounds so amazing. Oh, Balor, I'm glad you have to get hurt. That would have been so cool. But maybe that's good news that Kevin Owens might win the title next week. I don't know. So a big story going around this week is the match between Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton at SummerSlam. Was the ending real? Was it a work? Was it a shoot? Was that supposed to happen? Did Lesnar just go off on Orton? But apparently that was the real finish. That was what was supposed to happen. Lesnar was supposed to bust Orton open using his elbow, which he did, but there was a lot more blood than intended, and they ended up stopping the match. We don't really know if there was supposed to be more than that, but it was supposed to be an MMA-style shoot ending is what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to get people talking, and it has. I personally didn't really like the ending. I would have rather just seen a real wrestling match between Lesnar and Orton, because they could have given it, but they didn't. Also, after the match, apparently, because it was getting a lot of people talking and not knowing what was going on, Chris Jericho stood up to Brock Lesnar because he thought that, that wasn't supposed to happen, and that Lesnar was going in the business for himself and hurting Randy Orton. Apparently, Chris Jericho and Brock Lesnar got in an altercation. Jericho shoved him up against the wall, and Lesnar was like, fight me or kiss me, which is just a weird thing to say. But Jericho was basically standing up for Orton, and that shows that Jericho is the fucking man, even more than he already was. So, don't know if that's exactly true, but there's been a lot of reports that there was a backstage altercation between Jericho and Lesnar after the fight. So that's what we know about the things. That was supposed to happen, Orton was supposed to bleed hard way when he could have just bladed. I don't understand. If you want blood, why would you risk, like, seriously hurting or fucking killing a guy, having a dude elbow you into the head until you bleed? I don't know. I don't get it. I'm not in the professional wrestling business. I just talk about it on YouTube. But there you go. So thanks for watching this week's episode of Wrestling Roundup. Once again, there was a lot to talk about, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll come back next week. See you later.